Yo, what is going on, Cover One crew? Welcome back to the show. Hope everybody is good. It is crunch time, baby. Last 4 weeks of the fantasy football season is upon us. We got to get those dubs and keep this thing rolling. We're talking start sit week number 11. Lineup advice, baby. We got some big games coming. The Bills, the Chiefs. It's going to be a big one. I got my warm-up jersey on because I'm getting ready for Sunday. It's going to be absolutely stellar. That game always gets me nervous, man, playing Patrick, my homeboy. But I'm telling y'all, we got some bye-week troubles. Like you guys know, the Cards, the Panthers, the Giants, and the Buccaneers. We got bye-week Armageddon coming up in week 12 and 14. Where there's going to be 12 teams in those 2 weeks combined on the bye week. It's going to be very difficult, so we got to get the wins this week. It is imperative. Let's start off with those Atlanta Falcons and Dirty Birds taking on the Denver Broncos. Okay, taking travel to the Mile High. It may not be a great one, man. I don't know what these Falcons are at right now. I mean, we're already, 10 weeks in at this point, and I still don't know. They're still kind of an enigma for me. We got Kirko Chains. He has a good game, has a poor game. Hearing rumors they might want to lean to a Penix. I don't buy that for a second. But in this contest versus a Denver Broncos defense, you know that they're going to be coming after a Kirko Chains with his lack of mobility, which could inhibit all the good performances that everybody thinks that he could have. Pat Surtain going up against a Drake London does not bode well. So for Kirko, I'm saying mid-level risk. I'm not expecting the world out of him this week. If you got better options, I'm definitely taking him. Bijan Mustard Robinson, we know Bijan has been killing it the last 5 weeks, and that should absolutely continue, even versus a Denver Broncos team. I foresee a lot of PPR checkdowns to this man. Keep the defense a little bit honest, and hopefully he breaks one for a touchdown. Bijan, absolutely low risk for me. Tyler Algier not touching it this week. Drake London on the mid-level, like I'm saying, taking on likely a heaping of a Pat Surtain. I do not like it. Surtain has been locking up everybody to come his way. If you got better options, I'm definitely exercising that option to look elsewhere for a Drake London to sit on my bench rather than play him unless you have no other options. Darnell Mooney, he's no longer on the injury report, was dealing with an Achilles injury. He's got 6 boom games, baby. One of my best calls all off season was saying pick this man up in the last pick of your drafts and he will repay. He definitely has 121 points, 6 booms, killing it for us, mid-level risk. He may see some target share come his way if Surtain does take a lot of Drake London. Say, hey, Ray McLeod, PPR floor definitely here. They might have to utilize them on some, jet sweeps, some, gadget plays. Not playing it, though. Kyle Pitts, on the other hand, definitely has PPR upside, where they could see a lot of lockdown to the wide receivers. We could see a lot of Bijan, a lot of Kyle Pitts, especially since Pitts has not done well the past 2 weeks. I'm lukewarm on the play. I don't dislike it. I think there is potential, but you definitely got to be prepared for that low floor. Baltimore Ravens taking on the Pittsburgh Steelers. Okay, Lamar and Derrick Henry, 10 boom games apiece. Perfect match so far, 100% on the boom rates this season. Not many guys are hitting 10 out of 10 so far this season. Lamar and Derrick absolutely fire them up. It does not matter who they play. We know they're going to put up a lot of point totals, even though it is the Steelers. Steelers have not played any divisional games yet, so this is the first one they get, and they are taking against a against a Lamar Jackson. I am totally starting a Lamar, obviously, and King Henry everywhere I got him on a low risk. I do not fear this whatsoever. They are absolutely bust proof at this point. Justice Hill, PPR floor continues for this man. Deeper leagues only if you are searching for that PPR upside. Where Zay Flowers, I'm going to give him a mid-level risk on the good upside. He should have a decent game, bounce back game of some sorts. Last week was not necessarily special, but at least he should see a little bit more target share come this week, even though Pittsburgh does play very well on the back end of their secondary. Rashad Bateman, low floor, mid-level risk. It is boomer bust appeal, no question. We're Deontay Johnson. It is a revenge game. We haven't seen him basically suit up at all for these Ravens. Very limited target share right now for him. Maybe this is the game they unleash a Deontay versus his former club. I would absolutely love to see it. You know he's going to be geared up to play. So, it is one of those things. If you want to risk the biscuit, you could get some good points. If not, it could be a big goose egg on the scoreboard. So definitely, he's been one of these guys we just got to wait and see. But revenge games, you guys know I'm all in for that. Mark Andrews, TD upside on the mid-level. Absolutely fire him up everywhere you got him. He's been doing far too well. And Isaiah, not so likely. He's not been doing very well for us lately. Low floor on the high-level risk. I do not like it, even though his role could expand this week. Buffalo Bills, like I'm saying, taking on those Kansas City Chiefs. Josh Allen and my Bills. It's a huge game. This has got all the, if the Bills lose, you can basically stamp the ticket for the Chiefs getting home field advantage. So to keep it still honest, the Bills got to win, and home field is still in play. So it's a massive contest. Josh Allen, 7 boom games. No Keon Coleman. Amari Cooper still dealing with that wrist injury, but he is trending to play this week. Could be something of a decoy as well. And Dalton Kincaid is out with that knee injury. So the Bills definitely shorthanded in this contest. Good upside for Josh Allen. You know he's going to run. You know he's going to pass. He's always up to play Patrick Mahomes in a big way. Didn't want to put a low-level risk because, the weapons aren't necessarily all here, but we'll see how it does go. They should run the football a lot as well, and Josh has been very good at taking what defenses do give him. James Cook on the low-level risk. They will feed this man on the regular. They got to control the clock, keep Mahomes on the sideline, and hopefully score some tutties. I do like James Cook mostly every week. 6 booms is very good. 140 points. James should absolutely roll this week. Say, hey, Ray Davis. Volume floor, I really did think that the Bills would have utilized Ray Davis last week a lot more than they didn't, and it definitely came back to bite me. Did not really play him in any leagues, even in the really deep ones I'm in, but it is one of those situations where it is so hit and miss with a James Cook. So, right now you got to keep him on the bench and look in other directions. Amari Cooper, injury risk on the mid-level. If he plays, it's one of those situations. Is that wrist good? He's got it taped up in, the practices each and every week, so it's not good right now. It could, flare up if he does trying to run block. I'm stumbling for words here, but if he's trying to run block, he could jam that wrist. It could be no good, no bueno. So for me, Amari Cooper, I'm going to still put him on my bench this week. I don't like necessarily the play unless you're in a multi-flex leagues where you got to play a wide receiver with so many buys, then I understand. But at this point, I'm playing a little cautious with an Amari Cooper this week. Curtis Samuel, PPR floor, not touching it, even though he did get more targets last week. I do not like it. Where Khalil Shakir, low-level risk, he should be the one to see the peppering of targets in this contest. I love the play of a Shakir. And Dawson Knox on my boomer bust. I absolutely believe these guys are best friends. Him and Josh Allen, they love each other. They know each other. And it's going to be good in the red zone. If we don't see a touchdown to Dawson Knox, I will be absolutely shocked. And it's going to be terrible if he does not. But I do believe it is coming for a Dawson Knox TD upside on the mid-level risk. Chicago Bears taking on the Green Bay Packers. Caleb. It is not good. Nobody boomed. Nobody gave us really any points last week. They fired the offensive coordinator. Let's see what they do. Typically, post a coaching fire, we see the team absolutely uplift the next week, but I got to see it to believe it. Caleb Williams, low floor on the mid-level risk. A lot of people suggesting in the locker room, they're suggesting to say bench a Caleb for Bajent. That is dreadful news. But taking on the Green Bay Packers defense that is good, is rested coming off the bye week. I do not like the play of Caleb this week. We got to see what they're working with this new offensive coordinator. DeAndre Swift, mid-level risk. Teams are not afraid if Caleb's not throwing the ball, stack in the box, and it is stifling as Swift. I'm telling you, mid-level risk for me. Again, it is difficult with all the bye weeks, but if you got better options, I'm looking that way for a DeAndre Swift. DJ Moore, Rome Odunze, Keenan Allen, pick your poison. It's all very bad news right now, man. 2 booms each for DJ Moore and Rome Odunze, where Keenan's only got 1. It's not good, man. DJ Moore is, visibly frustrated with this offense. Rome Odunze is trying his best in his rookie season to be something. It's just Caleb can't get him the football. And, a lot of blame's got to go to Caleb as well. He's just not finding his wide receivers. Very slow on the progressive reads. He is not looking good right now. And he may be a week on the bench to sit, reset, learn again, and then come back would do this kid wonders. We'll see how it does go. I do not necessarily love the play of any of these wide receivers. If I had to choose, it's DJ Moore over all the rest of them. And then Cole Kmet, low floor for me on the mid-level. Perhaps we see this new OC actually integrate Kmet into this offense just a little bit more. Would be good. He's a safety blanket play, but again, Caleb's got to be the one to fire the football into these guys. Cincinnati Bengals taking on the Los Angeles Chargers on Sunday Night Football. This should be a good one. Bengals, man, 4-6, and Jamar Chase was saying, Never in my wildest dreams, he quoted, we would play this well and still be 4-6. And I mean, they put on a show last week on Thursday Night Football. I mean, Joey B, 5 TDs. Jamar Chase, he had a massive 55-point contest. Unbelievable, Joey B. Even though this is the Chargers defense that is very good, this will be a first real test for him. Low-level risk for a Joey B. Absolutely love it. Obviously, Jamar Chase, likewise, low-level risk. Fire these gentlemen up everywhere you got them. Like always, Chase Brown, low-level risk. He is showing that he can be a volume pig and produce on the regular. Love me some Chase. 6 boom games on the season since Moss went down with that injury to IR. It is Chase's backfield with Khalil Herbert in the back. High-level risk right now until we understand how much of the share he's going to vulture at this point, but right now it is Chase Brown and then everybody else. T. Higgins, he is back from the quad injury, and this guy's been killing us all season long with these ailments and injuries. You know he wants his payday. It's got nothing to do with injury, man. This injury quad could have been probably like half a week, and he's like, yeah, I'll take a couple weeks off. I don't want to get really hurt for my next payday because you know teams are going to be calling. Mid-level risk. If T. Higgins is playing, I got to suit him up, man. We drafted him to play him, even versus the Chargers that may, try to, hook up with a Chase more. I think we could see lesser coverage going to a T. Higgins. I absolutely will fire up a Higgins everywhere I got him. Andre Josevich, man, high-level risk, not touching it with Higgins back. And Mike Gesicki, likewise, will see his target floor go way down now that a T. Higgins is back. I'm going to tell y'all, play at your own whim because I am not touching a Mike Gesicki this week. Cleveland Brownies taking on the New Orleans Saints. Jameis Winston coming off the bye. This is another revenge game for him. Played with Tampa Bay to play with the New Orleans Saints. And you know Jameis, he's ready to play on a revenge game on the best of days. I'm not touching it, though. It's going to be very difficult for him. I mean, if you're in a pinch and you're streaming quarterbacks, super flex leagues, yeah, okay. I don't dislike the play, but there are better quarterback options that we can, look to and lean on. I do like it better, but Winston should at least, I mean, it's that roller coaster ride. Could be 3 TDs, could be 4 interceptions. That's Jameis Winston for you, so, I mean, we'll see how it does go. Nick Chubb, mid-level risk. I told y'all, it takes a long time to come back from these ACL injuries and feel back to your normal self. Nick Chubb probably isn't going to look the same until next year. Mid-level risk for me. I definitely do not like the play of a Nick Chubb this week as well. New Orleans still can play decent defense, and they will come after the running backs. The only thing saving his day is that TD upside. So if you got better plays, I get it. I mean, hopefully you do, but Nick Chubb at this point for me is still wait and see. Jerome Ford coming off the hammy injury off the bye week, low floor. We'll see. Maybe they do a 50-50 tandem split in this backfield, which would be good for Chubb as well. Do a little thunder and lightning type of deal with the two of them, but I don't like Ford this week either. Jerry Jeudy, PBR floor. Don't hate Jerry Jeudy in my flex this week. Could see a decent heaping of targets, 4 booms on the season. And I mean, playing a New Orleans Saints team that is in complete disarray coming off a win. I mean, all that, head coaching change excitement is over this week for the Saints, so they should fall back down to earth just a little bit. Elijah Moore, high level risk. He's got PPR upside, but I don't like it. He just has not been consistent, whereas Cedric Tillman is taking the lead here. Good upside for me. He's just one of these guys still I want to trust. I just feel like, you can't trust him yet. I know a lot of y'all play him and are happy with it. He's one of these guys I don't dislike the wide receiver, 3 flex appeal. I'm still kind of, wide receiver 2-ish. Like, yeah, it's almost there, just not quite for me. Don't dislike playing Cedric Tillman. He should have a decent game as well. And David Njoku on the low-level risk should be a focal point of this offense this week versus the Saints. Dallas Cowboys taking on the Houston Texans on Monday Night Football. This one was supposed to be a good one. Now, not so much. Dak Prescott, he's going for surgery on the hamstring, ripped it off the bone. He's likely being sent to IR soon, if he hasn't already. I believe he has. I don't even remember seeing it at this point. Kind of brain faded me. But those Texans, 6-4, they desperately need this win, and it's a great contest for them to get. Cooper Rush, high-level risk. He does not look good. Can we play Trey Lance, please? Hey, Jerry Jones, you got Trey Lance? Throw him in there, man. Let's see what he can do. We can see, Coach McCarthy's trying to save his job by playing the veteran leadership. Go with a Trey Lance. See what you got. We got, 7 weeks left in the NFL season? 8 weeks left. Go ahead and freaking play a Trey Lance. Just see what this kid can do. High-level risk for Rush. We're not touching it. Rico Suave, Rico Dwaddle. He gets the start. They say, he's the lead back now. Wasn't he already? I mean, Zeke wasn't doing it. I don't know what the hell's going on in Dallas right now. Okay, by semantics, they call Rico the number 1 running back. Fine. Volume upside is here. Absolutely. Garbage time upside is here. Absolutely. Am I playing it feeling good about it? No, I'm not. I don't feel good about Dwaddle whatsoever with the Cooper Rush. Everybody gets a downgrade on this offense. Zeke, you're never touching that. CeeDee Lamb, mid-level risk. I mean, it's so difficult. You likely don't have better options for a CD, so you're forced to play him like we had the same situation with a Tyreek and Tua. I don't like it, man. We saw what happened, 6 catches for like 25 yards? This is going to be your stat line week in, week out. At least if you're in full PPR leagues, he can hopefully get you those 6 points per week on the receptions. But outside of that, definitely temper the high-end expectations for a CeeDee Lamb. The only reason why we can still play guys like Tyreek and CD with lesser quarterbacks, because they have the ability to make a play all on their own. That's why we still do it. Turpin, high-level risk. We're at Jalen Tolbert, not touching that either. Jake Ferguson was dealing with an illness. He should be good to go. PPR floor. Maybe Cooper Rush should take some lessons and utilize the safety blankets and the checkdowns to your tight end. Jake Ferguson, I think you could do better, but I don't dislike the play of him this week, as there could be a lot of targets going his way. Denver Broncos taking on the Dirty Birds. Atlanta Falcons at home. Bo Nix, Bo knows. He's been playing good, man. I mean, I don't know what else to say. He's a great streaming quarterback. He's one of these guys that if you are struggling with injuries or if you had a quarterback that is not materialized, Bo Nix is doing the business, and he's doing very well at it. 6 boom games, 172 points. I got him on a mid-level. I still like how the Atlanta Falcons defense can come after quarterbacks, period, but Bo Nix is doing everything correct right now, and he is listening to his head coach. They almost beat the Chiefs, y'all, if it wasn't for that blocked field goal. Unbelievable. The Denver Broncos would have pulled off the upset of the season so far. So Bo Nix for me, mid-level risk. I'm totally comfortable playing him with good upside. Javonte Williams, Vontae, mid-level risk, could be losing out some touches to an Audric Estime. We'll see how that does go. Notre Dame product. We know Sean Payton wants to see this kid Estime run. We know that he handpicked him and believes in him. And Javonte's already losing favor. Lost favor in camp, and they just had to kind of roll with it. So for me, I got mid-level risk. I would sit a Javonte this week just in case they do force feed an Audric Estime. But, I mean, Vontae does have some TD appeal if they are in the red zone, where Estime, they may give that to him as well. Both these running backs, high risk until we understand how they do split up the volume here in Denver. Cortland Sutton, excuse me, Cortland Sutton, I've been absolutely negative on this guy all season long. Excuse me, I got a frog in my throat. And I gotta eat crow where I have it. I told y'all, when I'm wrong, I can admit I'm wrong. At least with the evolution of a Bo Nix, we see how good Cortland Sutton has been playing. 6 booms. Last 3 weeks, he's been absolutely flourishing with a Bo Nix. Good upside in the green for me. Finally, I can actually preach up the good graces of a Cortland Sutton. The only problem is if this offense does not produce on the passing game, then we're stuck with terrible point totals. But Sutton this week versus Atlanta, I do like the play. I think they are figuring a lot of things out with the Sean Payton. He knows this Atlanta team quite well, knows Morris quite well. So I do think that Cortland Sutton is relatively safe this week with good upside. Troy Franklin not touching it. We're at Devon Vele, mid-level risk, had his first boom game last week. He's starting to pick up steam as well. He's going to be very close to flex appeal in the next couple weeks if this trend does continue, and I do like it. Adam Troutman continuing on the low floor, high level risk, not touching it. Detroit Lions taking on the Jacksonville Jaguars, and this is a cupcake matchup for them. Get right in the best of ways. Okay, so if you watched Boom or Bust, I kind of explained it this way. This game's going to go either 2 ways. There's no in-between. Either they're going to have a big bounce back, get-right contest to get Jared Goff out of that 5-interception contest, or they're going to run the ball, control the clock, and just get the hell out of there and go home with the victory, and they're not going to push anything. That's the only ways this is going. There's no in-between. So for me, Jared Goff, I want to see at least in the first half him throw the football a lot, get a big lead, and then they can run the football. That's kind of how I want to see this game script go, so I got him on low-level risk, good upside. Not going to give him the stud start because the Jags surprisingly played the Vikings very well last week, and that's kind of what I'm saying. It felt like the Vikings just went into Jacksonville, said, let's just do what we got to do to get the win and get the hell out of here, and that's kind of what they did. Almost feel like the same kind of situation could be happening for the Lions. But because Jared Goff put up such a stinker last week offensively, you want to believe they're going to try to get him out of his funk. So in that case, I do believe, at least in the first half, we should see the Lions press in the football a lot. Monty and Gibby, low-level risk. They continue to be one of the two, I think they are the best tandem in the league, man. 8 booms for Monty, 9 booms for Gibby. It is so nice to watch these guys play. Fire those gentlemen up everywhere we got them. Amon-Ra, same St. Brown, while I do believe this could be a game off for him, still got to give him the low-level risk. 7 booms for him as well. He's killing it. He might score a touchdown, get you, the 11, 12 points, but you got to believe without a Sam Laporta, it's JMO Day, baby. They want to integrate JMO into this offense more and more every single week. Went to suspension, and then now they got to rebuild that once again. With JMO back, there's TD upside all day long, man. I think that they will try the deep shot against this Jags defense quite a bit in this contest. And for me, JMO has got boom appeal all written all over it. And then Brock Wright, high-level risk. I mean, they don't use Sam Laporta like they used to last year, so what makes you think they're going to use a Brock Wright in this contest? Green Bay Packers taking on the Chicago Bears. Okay, Cheeseheads, man, coming off the bye week. Jordan Love should be healthy, low-level risk. Fire him up versus struggling Bears team. Josh Jacobs, fire him up everywhere you got him, obviously, on the low-level risk playing against this Bears team. This is one of these situations where the Green Bay Packers, man, I'm struggling today. The Green Bay Packers can start to move up the boards, keeping up pace with the Minnesota Vikings, with the Detroit Lions, and leaving the Bears in the dust. So I absolutely love this contest for the Packers. I think they will play extremely well coming off the bye week. Romeo Doubs, Jaden Reed, I'm good with both these guys. You want to fire up either one of them? I am good with it. I think that there is good upside. Mid-level risk for a Doubs, or low-level risk for a Reed. They got to get back to Reed a little bit more. They kind of faded before they went into the bye week. It was like 2 games, no hits. 1 game hit, 2 games hits. Like, it was that, uneven appeal that we don't like to see. Jaden Reed is one of your most talented wide receivers. Utilize the man and continue down this path where Christian Watson is the boomer bust play. I mean, right now, I got to see it to believe it. He may catch a TD in this game, but I'm not trusting it. I don't think you guys should either. It's just far too volatile. Likewise with Dontavian Wicks, I do not like it. Where Tucker Kraft mid-level risk. He's been doing more than enough. 82 points on the season, y'all. He gives us a very safe PPR floor. I like Kraft this week. Houston Texans taking on the Dallas Cowboys on Monday Night Football. CJ Stroud does not play good this season on the road. Thankfully, he's playing a very beat-up Dallas Cowboys team, but Micah Parsons and company are on the field defensively, so we could see a C.J. Stroud continue to, struggle, but they are getting Nico Collins back, and I'm with y'all, man. If you want to send angry letters to DeMeco Ryans and company saying, why didn't you tell us that Nico wasn't playing earlier, man? You killed us going into that football game. Nico said he's fully healthy. Nico said he's going to play this week, so we're trusting Nico, not the Houston Texans coaching staff. So maybe this is what he needs. C.J. Stroud, get his boy back, downfield presence, the big body wide receiver. It should absolutely uplift this offense. C.J. Stroud, mid-level risk until otherwise noted. Joe Mixon, low-level risk, fire him up. He's been killing it, 6 booms for us. Missed couple contests, and he still has 137 points. He's doing the business. Where Dari Agunbowale. Jeez, man, these names are killing me. Low floor on the high-level risk. We're not doing it. Nico fired him up on the low-level risk. He says he's good. I'm listening to the man. Where Tank Dell gets downgraded to a mid-level. Should see some more openings now that Nico is back. Still fighting his hands, man. He's got something of a dropping problem this year, and for me, it's got everything to do mentally with the confidence. Still coming off that broken leg. Tank Dell does not look, he looks shades of what he was last year. So, I mean, I don't hate the play. If you got better options, don't dislike it, but I don't dislike playing a Tank Dell this week. John Mechie, target floor now that Nico is back. We'll see. I mean, CJ Stroud, he was able to feed Diggs, Nico on the regular, so who's going to take over the secondary piece? John Mechie is one of these dudes. He could absolutely came off his first boom game, looked really good last week. Maybe they lean a little bit more on former Alabama Roll Tide product than John Mechie. I'm a huge fan, always have been. And Dalton Schultz, low floor, finally got his first boom game. I do not like the play of a Schultz this week. Indianapolis Colts taking on those New York Jets. Anthony Richardson, Joe Flacco, what do you want to do? What is it that you want, Indy? I can't believe they went back. Okay, I get it. Flacco's a turnover machine. Did not play well versus the Bills. So what's the point, man? Season's going down the toilet 4-6. It's likely you're not making the playoffs. Why not see what Anthony Richardson can continue to do? I guess it's the way you got to see, evaluate your potential future franchise quarterback. Rushing upside is here, but, I mean, he can't hit the side of a barn right now unless he's magically, figured out his passing aptitude. I don't like it, man. Not against the New York Jets. Even though the defense has struggled, you got to believe a lot of rushing upside is coming because this Jets defense at this moment cannot stop the run. Jonathan Taylor, low-level risk, fire him up. He's been still killing it, even though, in the first half of the Bills game is 104 yards. Second half, he finished with 114 total. man, it was just, they bottled him up at the end of that contest. Did not look good. But Jonathan Taylor, I'm totally good with this week. Where Josh Downs, Michael Pittman, A.D. Mitchell, Alec Pierce, everybody gets a downgrade. What else can I say? You get a downgrade, everybody, because A-Rich is back, and he just cannot pass. Mid-level risk for Downs. He's got the highest level of PPR floor for us. We're a Michael Pittman still dealing with that back injury. He is TD dependent. We're an A.D. Mitchell likely falls back down. Where an Alec Pierce would be your boomer bust deep threat. Pick your poison. I don't like any of it. If I'm playing any of these wide receivers from this team, it is Josh Downs, and I'm fading everybody else. Mo Cox, Mo problems. He had Mo problems even when Flacco was there. Haven't caught a pass in 2-3 games. Now with A-Rich, I mean, there's going to be terrible problems for him. It's not worth it, no question. Jacksonville Jaguars taking on the Detroit Lions. Mac Money Jones. Man, I cannot clear my throat today. Trevor Lawrence, he is gone with an injury in this contest, shoulder injury. Sunshine, he's just not, I mean, we'll see. Well, they're going in the bye week. They'll reevaluate, see if he can finish and conclude the season. If not, we're going to be having a heaping of a Mac Money Jones high-level risk. He looked terrible last week, 6.4 points. It's just terrible taking on the Detroit Lions. He doesn't have a lot to work with. It's much like in New England outside of Brian Thomas. I mean, he's got some weapons there with Travis Etienne. Okay, we got who we got else out, man? It's Tank Bigsby. He's out with an ankle injury as well. So, I mean, at least we're going to get the volume upside for an Etienne. There is garbage time appeal, but it just has not looked good. And, you know, the Lions are not going to be fearful of a Mac Jones. They're going to stack this box, dare Mac Jones to beat him through the air. It could get ugly really, really quick. So, hopefully the defense does suit up like they did against the Vikings. I don't like it. Mac Jones, no, outside of injuries and bye weeks, do not like it. Travis Etienne, I'm looking in other directions as well because we will be biting our fingernails off for garbage time points. Do not like it. Dearness Johnson, high-level risk. Parker Washington, high-level risk. Gabe Davis, high-level risk. Just can't support it. I'm not trusting it, man. None of these guys have been doing anything with a Trevor Lawrence anyway, so I'm just not doing it. Where a Brian Thomas Jr., I know a lot of y'all will have a lot of questions on a BTJ. What do we do with him? He's off the chest contusion, not on the injury report, so that's good news. Mid-level risk. If you have to, I'm okay with it, okay? I think that we can do it if we're forced to. If we don't have to make the decision and say, damn it, I got nobody else, hopefully he gets a touchdown, and then we can at least smile. Outside of that, last two games have been very ugly for a BTJ. Versus the Lions team, unless he gets behind the coverage, I foresee a very similar stat line, anywhere from 6 to at least, 10 points. It's not going to be very good unless he finds his way into the end zone, where an Evan Ingram does have a PPR floor. There is safety blanket appeal here for a Mac Jones. We could see it anywhere from 8 to 12 points for an Evan Ingram. Kansas City Chiefs taking on my Buffalo Bills. Good upside for a Patrick Mahomes boy. We know he gears up to play Josh Allen. We'll see how it is. It is in Buffalo, so it will be interesting. You know, it's good news for the Bills defense. They are a turnover machine creator where Patrick Mahomes has been turning the football a lot over. So we will see. I still like the good upside for him. Definitely is going to be geared up to play a Josh Allen. Going to throw at least 1 to 2 touchdowns. Don't dislike the play of a Mahomes. He did get Juju back this week as well. More weapons for them. Where Kareem Hunt, low-level risk, as we saw what Jonathan Taylor was able to do. What the Bills have done very well this year is adjust at halftime. So we'll see if Hunt does run the football extremely well early. We could see the Bills adjust in that second half, but I still like the play of a Kareem Hunt. DeAndre Hopkins, TD upside in the green. Love the play once again. Even though the Bills secondary has played relatively well all season long, it's D-Hop, man. You know, he came off a game last week where he wasn't necessarily utilized in bunches. I think in this contest, they will force feed a D-Hop quite a bit. Where Xavier Worthy's the boomer bust on the mid-level risk. It just hasn't panned out just right now. I think it's the routes they're asking this kid to do. They're just, making him run nines, kind of getting in his own head, losing script of the game. You got to give this kid a few more routes, and then I think he'll showcase it, but we'll see. It just has not been the best season for an Xavier Worthy. Juju on the PBR floor coming off a hammy injury. Don't dislike this play in my flex either. Wide receiver 3 upside definitely is here as well, where the Bills could be locking up a DeAndre, that Juju could be finding his way free because Travis Kelce also demands a lot of attention. Low-level risk for Travis Kelce. He loves playing the Bills and typically goes off versus them. Los Angeles Chargers taking on the Bengals on Sunday Night Football. Like I'm saying, Herbie, baby, Justin Herbert. I called these guys out a couple weeks back and said Coach Harbaugh has made this team look worse than Coach Staley, and now all of a sudden Justin Herbert's got 3 games in a row of around 20 points-ish. Low-level risk, man. They're playing good. They finally have the thing working in the right way. Good balance, playing good defense, running the ball well, and now Herbert's got some wide receivers making plays for him. I absolutely like it, man. The play of Justin Herbert this week, low-level risk. He's got 3 boom games in a row. Abso-frickin-lutely, I'm going with the hot hand here. Love me some Herbie this week. J.K. Dobbins coming off a bust game. Low-level risk versus Cincinnati Bengals defense that can be gashed at times and should give up a lot of yards in the ground game, where Gus Edwards, he's dealing with another ankle injury. This guy just cannot stay healthy this season. TD Floor on the high level. That's another reason why I'm going to a J.K. Dobbins. Josh Palmer, low upside, not touching it all season long. QJ, Quentin Johnston, he's got some abilities. TD upside definitely does reside here as well. It is kind of the Ladd McConkey QJ show at this point. We'll see you pick your poison. Last week, Ladd didn't necessarily have a great game where Herbie was, spreading the football around quite a bit. QJ's got to be used in this contest, little deep shots and then PPR upside to Ladd. I like the potential here for this offense to keep moving. If I got to play anybody once again this week, it is Ladd over a QJ. Will Disley, low floor, high level risk. I am not touching it. Los Angeles Rams taking on the New England Patriots. I don't know what the hell that was last week from the Rams. They just looked off. They did not look good. The Dolphins looked fresh and ready. Bounce back game for a Matthew Stafford, even though it is travel to New England, cross-country travel. Never good news for a team. 4-5, the Rams trying to make a push to get back into the playoff run. Their division is very competitive, so they are definitely still alive. Bounce back game on the mid-level risk for a Matthew Stafford. He's got weapons for days, just got to get out of his own way this week. Kyron Williams coming off his first bust game of the season. I see a bounce back in a big way too. Low-level risk. Keep feeding a Kyron. Get Matthew Stafford more comfortable. I think Miami's game plan on defense was very good. New England shouldn't be able to match that this week. Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua, low-level risk. Fire these guys up. We're a DeMarcus Robinson TD floor on the mid-level risk. I'm not a big fan because unless one of these dudes is out, if Kupp is out or Nacua is out, then we can trust a Robinson. Outside of that, he's going to score touchdowns, but it's when does he do it? It's one of those situations we can't trust TD floor on the mid-level risk unless you have injuries and bye week troubles. I'm not touching that this week. And Colby Parkinson is fallen all the way down to the abyss of the under dirt and rocks. It is not good for that man. We move on. Las Vegas Raiders taking on the Dolphins this week, coming off the bye week. Gardner Minshew gets to start once again, mid-level risk. We'll see what they do. I mean, I'm not playing Gardner Minshew, but I do like me some Alexander Madison this week on the good upside play, mid-level risk. Almost got him to the green this week. My charts definitely almost got it there to promote it. I'm calling Matty a boom this week because he is one of these guys in this contest off the bye week. They got to run the football a lot. Even though the Finns were able to stop a Kyron, I like Madison this week quite a bit. They should force feed him on the ground. Lots of volume, lots of upside in the red zone around the 10-yard line. We could see Matty score a touchdown this week. Zamir Zeus White, his season continues to be regrettable. We're a Trey Tucker, DJ Turner. I'm not touching it this week, but I am looking in the direction of Jacoby Meyers and a Brock Bowers. These two gentlemen are in the green for me this week as well. Target upside for a Meyers. He should get a heaping of targets from a Minshew, where Brock Bowers, generational rookie tight end season is still continuing. Off the bye week, 7 boom games, almost 100 points. You fire up both Myers and Bowers everywhere you got them. Likewise with those Dolphins taking on those Raiders. Okay, the score was good last week. The Finns looked pretty good, but nobody really hit the big-time booms last week on this team outside of Tyreek Hill scoring a touchdown. Tua Tagovailoa, low-level risk, man. I mean, the Raiders are what they are. They're playing for next season already. Maybe there's some pride left. Tua needs a get-right game in the pass game like a madman, and I think last week was a good standard and staple to say they're not done just yet. This is a tune-up contest that they require. Tua should have a big game. I'm banking on it. Low-level risk. Devin off the A-chain, low-level risk. Man, he was running well last week, and he didn't get a boom. I was absolutely shocked, man. This week should be a bounce back for him. Fire up H-N ever he got him. He should run wild versus these Raiders. With Raheem Mostert, he is now the volume-dependent running back in this offense. Do not like it. He should get a touchdown this week. I just can't play it because it's so, he's going to, I say he's going to score, he doesn't do anything. I say he's going to do nothing, he scores. It's one of these players for me right now. Raheem Mostert, I'm keeping him on my bench, even though I'm predicting him getting in the end zone. Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, good upside for a Tyreek Hill on the green. He's dealing with that wrist injury. Thankfully, he got into the end zone to save us a day last week. He took me over the top in a couple leagues as well, where Jalen Waddle time, his floor has been very porous. I mean, early on, they started force-feeding him. Something's missing in this McDaniel offense right now. He's got to fix it, and this is the game to do it. I do not like the play of a Waddle as much as a Tyreek Hill, but I am okay playing both these gentlemen this week. Oh, BJ not touching it, where Jonnu Smith does have appeal once again. Good safe floor, 6 to 8 points. Definitely does reside for a Jonnu Smith. Minnesota Vikings taking on the Tennessee Titans, 7-2 Vikes. Barely escaped the Duval in Jacksonville. Sam Darnold looked horrific last week. He just was throwing interceptions. He was off, and I called him a stud start. What the hell do I know, apparently? I mean, it's Sam Darnold's fault. Let's blame Sam. He looked like the New York Jets Sam Darnold at this point. We're talking bounce back this week on the low-level risk. I do know a few things or two, but Sam Darnold, you definitely failed us. Even though the Titans do play decent defense at times, I do like the play of Sam this week. Even though it is on the road, we could see some stumble early on, some carryover from last week when he did not look good. But Aaron Jones, he was dealing with that injury, was carted off, and then came back, had us all grasping for air. We did not know what the future was going to hold. Good upside for him. He should get at least a decent amount of touches, where Cam Akers could get some volume upside in this contest as well because of the injury to an Aaron Jones. They may want to taper off the total touches for Jones, so definitely watch out for that as well. Cam Akers only in 14 and 16 team leagues am I looking at. Justin Jefferson, JJ bounce back with a Sam Darnold. You got to believe it. We're Jalen Naylor not touching it. And then Jordan Addison. Addy, you're killing me, and I know it's not your fault. It's this offense right now. Sam Darnold just can't support everybody at this point. It's very peculiar. Addy's a top dog wide receiver. Playing with a guy like JJ. Addy's a wide receiver 1 in this league, and playing with a guy like JJ, he should be running free all over the place. Has not been doing it. Mid-level risk. Got to downgrade him this week. If you got better options, I would absolutely entertain that as well. But at this point, I just want to see Addy, put together 2 good quality games and keep rolling, because I'm a huge believer in a Jordan Addison. TJ Hawkinson, I told y'all 2 weeks in a row. I wanted to see it the first week back. I told y'all last week it's roughly 8 to 10 points. He got us 11. This week I'm comfortable. Let's fire up a TJ. PBR floor on the mid-level risk. He should be a big usage in this offense now that he does look healthy and back to being Mr. Reliable. New England Patriots taking on the Rams. Drake May, baby, 3-7. Okay, they're working some things out. They're looking decent. I like me some Drake May. He's a good streaming option against the Rams. It's a good contest at home. Mid-level risk. If you're streaming quarterbacks this week due to the bye week troubles or injuries, I'm okay with Drake this week. He's given us a 15 to 19 point floor, and I do like it every single week. He's figuring it out. They're using the run game. He's looking more comfortable. Drake May is turning into the guy I thought he was going to be. Ramondre Stevenson, mid-level risk. The way they shut down the run game versus the Dolphins last week, I would temper the top-end expectations, 12 to 13, 14 points for a Ramondre at this point. Don't dislike the start, but definitely caution the top-end appeal this week. Gibson not touching it, and you like booty? I mean, we're talking Keyshawn Boutte. He's a different kind of booty. I'm telling y'all, man, he's low floor for me. There is a lot of upside moving forward with these wide receivers. For me, it's Boutte, it's Polk, and it's Douglas. These are the 3 that you got to integrate in this offense with a Drake May and build this chemistry moving forward. I think that should be your offense next season, unless they add a talent like a T. Higgins, for example. Keyshawn Boutte is a good wide receiver. He was great at LSU. Go back to his LSU days. You'll see what I'm talking about. I just want to see how they do and utilize it moving forward. They're just not listening to me. I should be a head coach, but I'm not. Boutte, we're not playing him. All that for what? Me telling you not to play Boutte. I ramble on sometimes. I apologize. Kendrick Bourne not touching it. We're a Demario Douglas PPR upside on the mid-level. We can trust it. The floor is pretty safe. Anywhere from 8 to 12. I'm okay with that in my flex. KJ Osborne not touching it. We're the Hunter Henry mid-level risk TD upside versus the LA Rams. Definitely does exist here. Bounce back from his only under 2-point game last week. New Orleans Saints taking on the Cleveland Brownies. Okay, Saints are back for one game, and I don't know what the hell that was, okay? MVS just automatically, magically became the best wide receiver in the league last week. What the hell was that? 29 points? You don't have hands, man. I've never seen you catch the ball like that. Okay, I'm being a little rough on the man. Good for him. MVS had a big game this week. I get it. Derek Carr, mid-level risk. Okay, he's back from his injury. They're going to try to put something together versus this Browns team that's definitely injured on all sides of the football. Derek Carr's a mid-level risk. Streaming quarterback, I'm not really excited about it. I would look elsewhere, but if you're struggling, Derek Carr should give you the 15 to 20. It should be there, but we've seen this story before with Derek Carr. Has a great game, and then he completely fades into the sunset. So I would look in other directions and hope for the best. Alvin Kamara, low-level risk. He just continues to amaze me. The guy looks like he's jogging out there, and he's running past grown-ass men. I just don't understand how that's even possible. He's been an absolute joy for us all season long. MVS, mid-level risk. He deserves it, man. He could be the number one target, but you know what it is? It's like he took over the Rashid Shaheed role. That's why it looked so good, and I think it's going to continue. They're going to continue to try it. I mean, pick your poison on defense? There is no true elite wide receiver now that Chris Olave has been sent to IR. It's MVS. It's Cedric Wilson. It's Mason Tipton. It's whoever else. Austin. I mean, you pick your poison at this point. MVS out of these wide receivers, if you're looking for a play, sure, it's a boomer bust. He could score another TD going deep because he still has wheels. Cedric Wilson, injury risk, but he would have the PPR upside. He is the vet presence, has good hands, has shown it before in Miami, so I do like Cedric as a PPR deeper league play if he does suit up. Tipton, not touching it. We're a Taysom Hill, low-level risk. Him and Kamara are the only safest options on this team. If you want someone to play, you definitely can trust those guys. They should have another good day. Where Juwan Johnson, like I said, his role will increase now that Olave is gone. It did last week as well. Aaron Rodgers and his New York Jets, man. Who are you firing this week, Aaron? I mean, he's going to go back into the dungeon looking for the light, and he's just going to see more darkness. But luckily enough, he's playing the Indianapolis Colts. I mean, mid-level risk for an Aaron Rodgers. What a dumpfire season it's been for the Jets. So much expectation. Everybody picking them to beat the Buffalo Bills in this division. It just has not panned out. 3 wins, y'all. And I mean, okay, as a Bills fan, it makes me happy to see you guys on the bottom floor. Sorry, Jets fans, but let's talk some positives. Aaron Rodgers, mid-level risk. I think he has something of a bounce back. That offensive line can't block for him right now. They got to figure out ways to at least get a quicker passing game happening. Breece Hall came back to goods last week, got us a boom game. I got a low-level risk for a Breece. Aaron Rodgers, I'm okay with the play versus the Colts, even though the Colts defense is decent and swarming with their linebackers, so definitely watch out for that. Breece Hall, I'm still very comfortable with. We're Devontae Adams and a Garrett Wilson. Low-level risk for Garrett. He should have another bounce back as well. Target share should come to his direction. The problem is they're trying to force the football to an Adams to make it look like, hey, we're back. We're the old tandem of Green Bay, and it just isn't the same type of situation. Force feed Garrett Wilson, let Devontae Adams, find his groove on the field and get him when he's open. Just do that, man. Make it simple. Simplify the situation. Simplify problems, and things do start to work out. I'm spitting all over myself on my screen and everything. Good Lord. Jets make me mad even though they're not even playing my Bills. I'm telling y'all. Malachi Corley not touching it, and then Tyler Conklin, TD floor, definitely on the high-level risk. Not looking in that direction. Pittsburgh Steelers taking on the Ravens. I'm really looking forward to this one, man. 7-2, 7-3. This is going to be a good one. Dangerous. Russell Wilson. I had to take a pause for a second, man. It's a lot of talking. My voice ain't working today. Russell Wilson's looking good, okay? Is he looking great? No, but he's looking good. Vintage Russ, able to move this offense down the field. I like the play of Russ this week. The Ravens, Kyle Hamilton's going to play this week, but he is dealing with that ankle injury. This defense has been gashable through the air. I don't foresee a lot of running upside from Pittsburgh this week, but I do like me some George Pickens. Good upside on the low level. Fire him up everywhere he got him. Told y'all, George is a freak of nature. Alpha number 1. Acrobatic catches, man. This kid is so good. Keep firing up a George. He looks good with Russ at this point. Najee Harris, Jalen Warren. Don't necessarily like the play of either gentleman at this point. If I got to pick one, it's Najee over a Jalen. But, I mean, it's what? Najee's given us 8 points per week. I mean, at the best of times, he scores a TD. It's 12. It's not been good. Najee's been trying to get his contract. I'm done with Najee at this point overall. Van Jefferson, Calvin Austin not touching it, but Big Mike Williams catches a touchdown, hence why they traded him. They need another wide receiver, and good for Mike, okay? Coming off all those injuries-riddled seasons in L.A. with the Chargers, finally goes to the Jets, just did not work out, and, I mean, he was so happy, caught his first touchdown as a Steeler. Use this, man. I want to see one more game before we trust it. If you got the kahunas to play him, I definitely applaud you. I mean, in one league where it's like I got no bench and it's like super deep, I'm going to start a Mike Williams this week only because I have no other options. But if you got options and you're playing a Mike Williams, that's massive kahunas. and he could definitely pay off for you. Target dependent for me on the mid-level risk for a Mike Williams, where Pat Fryermuth, the Muth, mid-level risk, finally caught himself a TD. I want to see 2 games. Give me some 2 games, Muth, and then where I'm going to be back on your wagon. I'm always a big fan. Just hate how they utilize them. Don't utilize them, I should say, in this offense. San Francisco 49ers taking on the Seahawks. Brock is looking pretty in this offense. They got their boy CMC back. Low-level risk for him last week. Low-level or a mid-level for him last week. Got you, almost 14 points. Low-level risk. He's unscathed, even though he still is on the injury report with the Achilles. Fire up Brock. Fire up CMC. Everywhere you got him. They're just playing so good. Kyle Shanahan has this offense moving in the right direction. You're going to have, stumbles from Purdy from time to time, but he is, so nobody talks about this guy like he's good. He's really good. He's efficient. He makes plays, spreads the ball around, and he's extremely coachable. I don't know how you can't like a Brock Purdy at this point. Fire up both those gentlemen. Fading a Jordan Mason at this point. CMC's back, and it's like Mason never existed. Debo, low-level risk. Fire him up. He loves playing the Seahawks, and Shanahan's going to scheme up some things to get him in the end zone this week. I foresee a tutty coming for a Debo. Ricky Pearsall, again, failed some of y'all in the start sit with Ricky Pearsall. You just had better options on paper last week. This week, okay, I'm still going to be on the cautiously optimistic side. Mid-level risk for Ricky. I like the play. If you got flex appeal without better options, Ricky definitely is going to be taking over some of those targets from Brandon Ayuk, 110%. Love the play of a Ricky Pearsall. Juwan Jennings, for me, injury risk. I'm going to keep him on the high level. I don't like it, even though he did, eat a little bit last week. I think there are better options. I think he gives you a decently safe floor. I just like Ricky a little bit better, and I think it's going to start to turn the tide a little bit as we go, because this offense is moving through Debo, through Kittle. Now with CMC back, we should see Jennings' role absolutely fade a little bit further down. George Kittle dealing with an injury as well, hammy issue, so definitely watch out for that. I'll keep you updated in the comments. Low-level risk, fire up at Kittle everywhere you got him, because he is the people's tight end, and he's given us all the points we require. Seattle Seahawks taking on those 49ers. Geno coming off the bye week. Good news for the Hawks. They get a DK Metcalf back. Low-level risk for DK. He's off the injury report. That means he's good to go. The last time these guys played, DK dropped a touchdown, I believe, and had a touchdown fly over his head. So it's revenge time, baby. You got to know DK is going to be finding his way into the end zone to score a touchdown. Geno needs a get-right game. Went into the bye week, not looking the best. I still got him on a mid-level risk. 49ers do give up points at times in the secondary, so I think a good contest for Geno is definitely warranted. Kenny Walker, the third low-level risk, fire him up. He is legitimately, we got to start talking about Kenny Walker as one of the best in the game right now. This man just knows how to play football. He is a tough runner, volume pig, and can bulldoze anybody. It's just injuries derail this man, hence why we always got him lower down our rankings. Kenny Walker, I've always been a huge fan. Low-level risk, fire him up. Zach Charbonnet. You can't basically trust it for weeks because Kenny's just doing the business, or DK, like I said, fire him up. What do you do with Tyler Lockett and Jackson Smith-Njigba? And I've been saying it's time, man. The evolution of JSN taking over Tyler Lockett's role in this offense. 33 points going into the bye week, baby. JSN is that dude. I've been telling y'all, preaching it for how long? I like JSN over Tyler Lockett this week, where PPR upside on the mid-level, where a TD floor is going to be the MO for a Lockett, playing the specialist role. You got to believe. And then A.J. Barner for me, high-level risk, because Noah Fant is down with an injury. Tennessee Titans taking on those Minnesota Vikings. This is the last one on the board since the commies. They were playing on Thursday Night Football. Will Levis, okay, he had 19 points last week. I was harsh on the man, and I mean, rightfully so. I want to see more games like that. Put a few more contests like that together, and I'm good. High-level risk. I'm not touching it versus the Vikings. They're going to be pissed with the way they played last week, and I foresee the best showing coming from the Minnesota Vikings defense. But I do like some Tony Pollard. He's off the injury report, which is great news. He was dealing with an ankle, with a knee, or a foot and a knee. So I like Tony Pollard. He's been so good all year. Even in the worst of times playing the toughest defenses, he still finds ways to get us points. Fire up Tony everywhere you got him. Tajay Spears, he's on the volume floor. Unless he gets more touches, we can't trust it at this point. But the biggest issue is Calvin Ridley. What do we do with Calvin at this point? I got him on the mid-level risk. I think they're going to definitely key in on a Calvin Ridley quite a bit. Double coverage, bracket coverages. Make somebody else beat you like a Tyler Boyd and a Nick Westbrook Akine. So I do got TD upside still on the high level risk for a Westbrook Akine, where Tyler Boyd not touching it whatsoever. So if you're looking for that sneaky sleeper play, maybe Westbrook Akine does find his way into that end zone. Definitely could see it. Where Okonkwo, we have been playing that all season long, and there is no reason to go there at all this week as well. But there you have it. That is week number 11. Starts at lineup advice. We are getting closer. I can't believe how fast the NFL season goes every year. It is unbelievable. 4 more weeks. We got to get those wins, and I got you covered. Definitely drop your questions in the comments. I'll always get back to y'all. But nevertheless, as always, don't forget to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, jump in those comments like I'm saying, and we'll see you next time. I am out.